Welcome to the Witchy Work Wishes podcast, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. Welcome to Witchy Work Wishes. I am your host, Charlene, and today I have Justin joining me as a guest so we can dive into Norse Paganism with him. Now, this is a two-part series because I had so much fun talking with him that it stretched well beyond my typical 30-minute slot. So, spoiler alert, there is a cutoff point at the end of today's podcast on a story that he is telling, so you definitely want to come back next week to hear the rest of it. But first, 3 things I did this past weekend to help with my own personal practice. So I was gearing up for our full moon on Monday. And as promised to myself, I reviewed and worked on my own personal goals. I ended up having more still left to do than I realized. So honestly, the exercise of refining them and refining my own timeline to complete them was very, very helpful. I also worked on some business elements with Witchy Work Wishes and had a great design meeting for my 2024 day planner. I'm so excited! That is launching in October. And started drafting out the wording portion of it. So I'm really hopefully ready for the next milestone check-in. So the heat is here. And honestly, I was inside a bunch during the daytime over the weekend. But that did allow me to work on my practice more. I did some more reading, which honestly, I feel like I've been kind of slacking with lately. I don't know about you guys, and I also really reattached to my goals for the year. So the only way that I know I'm going to end the year strong is by working on them now. So it was nice taking time over the weekend to just, kind of settle in and organize with them. On Sunday, I did a card pull, again, going back to my animal oracle deck. This time I was looking for some guidance with the huge July full moon that we are having, and I ended up pulling the Rabbit Spirit. And this card says, "A sunny meadow calls, and Rabbit Spirit appears to lead you out of your dark warren and into the light so that you can participate in a fertile and beautiful experience. It may seem safe below ground, but the magic happens when you come out and take the risk of being vulnerable and co-creating something new. You are being invited into a new life that you have no experience with. But have no fear. Today is also a time to be faithful and productive as you enjoy Rabbit Spirit. Rabbit Spirit has sunny and prolific energy at this time, so whatever you intend to bring to life will find fertile ground. There are no mistakes really when you are co-creating with Spirit, so let new ideas spring to the surface, knowing that now is a lucky time of tremendous possibility." I like that. That was a really good card to pull with all the things I'm working on right now. And, I feel yet again like this deck is working directly with me. All right, the moon. It's here. Our big July full moon was on Monday, and its energy will still be lingering on Wednesday as this airs. This is a supermoon, which means it's really close to the Earth, making the moon very visible and large. And this July full moon is halfway through our calendar year, and it will be the strongest full moon of our year. So it's a Capricorn full moon, which means, as we are in Cancer season, and, Cancers are ruled by the moon, you might be feeling tugs a little bit more than usual, tugs with your emotions, tugs with your heartstrings, tugs on your patience maybe. But Capricorn moon is all about power, and if you need to take some power back in your life, now is the time. The energy this week is probably emotionally fueled since it is Cancer season, but hopefully you are getting through it well. Full moons are all about releasing, so for me, I personally focused on what was holding me back in completing my goals with this full moon, so I could release them. Okay, I have a quick ad insert, and then we are heading right over to Justin and jumping into Norse Paganism. I'm really excited about this one, and I had so much fun recording with him. So hold tight, and let's head over. Okay, we are back, and I am so anxious to get into today's topic. And I have an amazing guest with me who I'm going to let introduce himself.
What's up, guys? My name is Justin. You may know me from Witch Wednesdays or on Instagram at Pagan Padre 0220. And I'm a Norse pagan and a Hecatean priest.
Excellent. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and today's topic, I'm just so excited to be diving into this with you. I actually did a post on the Discord channel of a new book I got in a while back called The Old Norse Spell Book. And I distinctly remember you just having a nice little post to me saying, hey, take it with a grain of salt. It's hard. There's probably a lot of different versions of some Norse information, but specifically today, you and I are going to be talking about Norse paganism.
Yeah, so a lot of the information that we have has been recorded by like Christian monks. So that's why I was letting you know, like, hey, take this with a grain of salt.
Right.
Especially if it's anything that says Norse and magic together, because they didn't really have quote unquote magic like what we know it as. It was more folk.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, that's a great tip then. So normally if we see that, they should not go hand in hand.
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha.
The book is a really good book, but like I have a book called The Magic of the Runes.
Yes.
And I found out upon reading, I'm like, yeah, this isn't right.
Oh. Well, if somebody is like me and we're just getting into the Norse history and Norse paganism, how would you walk us through it? Like where do we start? Where does it begin?
It would begin with the Poetic Edda and the Prose Edda.
And what are those?
They are the stories that we have that are the most authenticated of the gods.
Okay.
That's where we get all of our information of the gods.
What's the difference between those two?
It's just they're almost the same. They just tell different stories.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Jackson Crawford, who is a Old Norse professor, I think he's in Colorado now. He has his version out, which is is like the most authenticated version.
Those are like actual like big books to buy, or what? I haven't looked at these yet. What are we looking for?
They're small. I mean,
they're small.
They're two of them are small, and then you could also get the Havamal, which I don't remember if it's part of the prose or poetic, but it's the words of Odin specifically.
Okay.
And they sell like a pocket Havamal that you can carry around with you and like flip through,
like a quick reference almost.
Or like, oh, I need some motivation for the day or words of affirmation, and then you can just flip through and read a stanza.
Ah, I like that. I'm sorry, which one was that one called? What is that again?
The Havamal.
All right, I'm literally writing notes as we're talking here. Okay, so so for starting off, either the poetic or the prose is what you called them?
Yes.
Okay. How would you, like, if you could just walk us through some of the history, where would you begin with?
I would say if you're going to start, one of the first things would be to read the Poetic and Prose Eddas, and learn about the different gods. And when you're reading this, you'll hear the term Aesir and Vanir.
Okay.
The Vanir were typically fertility deities, and the Aesir were more war deities.
Oh, okay.
And they were basically all the same. Like they're all Norse deities, and at some point they just merged together to just become the gods.
Okay. And who are some of the war gods?
So you've got Odin, Thor, Tyr, Balder, Frigg, Freya, Loki, Hel, Uller.
What about you said fertility gods? The
Vanir would be Njord, Frey, Freya, Freyr, Heimdall, and Skadi.
Now, have you actually read up on each of these gods and goddesses?
I have.
You have, yeah.
Loki is my patron deity.
Oh, okay.
I get so many comments about being a Lokian practitioner and how chaotic my life must be. It's true. Chaos is my life.
Is that what drew you to him, or is that how you found Loki?
So when I started this path, I was working with Thor, Tyr, and Freya. And when I made my first rune set, I could not get the Kenaz rune to stay.
Interesting.
It wouldn't stay because I had some glass stones that I found and I was painting them on there.
Sure. And it just no matter what you did, it just would not stick.
It wouldn't. And when I reached out to some of the other Norse pagans that I knew, I was like, hey, I'm making this set, and Kenaz just does not want to stay at all. And they were like, oh, well, you need to reach out to Loki. Oh. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I want that in my life. They're like, okay, well, in the last, I don't know, 6 months, have you like randomly burned yourself or anything like that? Just were walking and tripped on the flat surface. I'm like, yeah, all the time. Like,
oh my gosh.
They're like, yeah, that's Loki. And I'm like, oh, okay. And sure enough, like the next day I was at work and I reached down to grab a wrench that had fallen in an engine block and I burned myself. And I'm like,
there it is.
The engine had been shut off for like at least 8 hours. So it should have been cool. Ooh. And there it was. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Don't you think that's true though? Sometimes you just keep getting until you figure it out, but you just keep getting these reminders and images and just, hey. And then finally you're like, okay, I get it. I hear you. I'm going to stop and I'm going to pay attention.
Yes, it's very much one of those. And that's what that was. It was, hey, listen. Oh, you're not listening? Guess what? Chaos.
Okay, let me say it a little louder.
Yeah. Oh, that's not loud enough? Well, let's try this. Yeah.
So true. What okay, so after you started working with Loki, were you able to finish that image that
yes.
Like, did he allow you to do it? Oh.
Yes, like almost immediately. I set up a candle for him on my altar and gave him an offering, and I waited a couple days and I was like, can I finish my set now? And I got like this little confirmation in the back of my head. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I finished it.
Oh my gosh. And do you still work with Loki now?
Oh yeah. Like I said, he's my patron deity.
He's your patron. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Either way, it's you and him.
It's me, him, and Hecate.
Yep. Oh, I had a great, you might have listened to it with Annika, a great episode. That is Hecate is her girl too. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a fun one. Okay. All right. So we've got our war gods and our fertility gods. Certainly each one of those separate gods or goddesses can have a different calling to a person, right? Or give different signs. Yes. So I know Odin, certainly crows for me. So Odin and his 2 crows are really big. Freya is definitely big for me, even though I don't know that I've done a lot of deity work. Those 2 call to me on very specific levels.
Yes. Freya and her cats.
Oh my gosh,
most
right?
Definitely. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I know. Yep. Are there any other do you think, I mean, everybody seems to know Odin, right? The Allfather. Is that one of the words or names he goes by, the Allfather?
Yeah, that's one of his, I guess you would call it his epithets.
Okay. So what about the 9 realms? Like what does that include, and the tree and all that amazing history?
So you have the world tree Yggdrasil. And it's where the 9 realms are. And the 9 realms would be Asgard, which is where Odin is, Vanheim, which is where Freya is, Afelheim, Muspelheim, Midgard, Niflheim, Jotunheimer, Hel, and this one always gets me. I do not speak Norse, so it's right. Yeah, Novalir.
Okay.
Yes, it's Nioavellir.
Okay, gotcha. I wrote it down.
Yes, it's no clue how to pronounce
it. We know it's there. Well,
it's there.
Yeah, it does seem like no matter what area is your study or your expertise, that every practice has, it seems like a world tree or a tree that is like the significant middle of everything, center point. Is that much like this world tree?
Yes, most definitely.
You know that tree that's an Avatar? Like it's so gorgeous and it's such a center of everything, and it's so
I've never seen it.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay.
No, my wife loves the movie, but I've never seen it.
Okay, that's I always think of something like that when somebody's talking about a tree that is, the center of everything and gives life and power to the people that believe in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the world tree, what was the name again? Yggdrasil?
Yeah,
Yggdrasil, okay.
Yggdrasil. Yeah.
Yggdrasil. Okay. And what can we learn about that tree? What should we know for the Norse with that tree?
So when you read the Eddas,
Mm-hmm.
they tell you about how the world was created.
Oh.
Yeah, so Odin and his brothers killed Mimir and used his body to create the world. Don't want to bore with details, but when you read, it tells you how they used the hairs on his head to make the trees, and his blood is the rivers, and the sky is his skull.
And this is made from Odin, you said?
Odin and his brothers killed their father, Mimir.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I'm with you.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay.
Yes. And like I said, like when you read the stories, like you get a full picture of it, right, and how it came and how the Norse believe the world came to be.
And the tree has animals associated with it, or that are a part of it.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
So you've got the Jormungandr, who lives at the base, and he circles the world. You have the eagle who sits at the top. And then you have a squirrel that spreads rumors between the serpent and the eagle. And the squirrel's name is Ratatoskr.
That seems very squirrel-like, I gotta say.
Yes, I love this little squirrel.
Yeah.
And he just embodies like normal people. It's like, oh yeah, hey, let's play this game of telephone. Where the eagle's going to say something. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to tell them the completely different story. And then I'm going to keep doing this back and forth.
And then everybody's totally confused at the end.
Yes. And everyone's confused. And and you have these two beings who are at war.
Oh my gosh. That is awesome. All within the tree.
All within the tree.
And then are there any, okay, so we have an eagle on top. We have the squirrel going back and forth to the serpent on the bottom.
Yes.
Is that what you said? And then the roots. Okay. And then are there any other animals, or are those like your main three?
Those are like the main three. And then, each of the gods have or some of the gods have animals that are associated with them. You mentioned the ravens.
Yes.
With Odin, but he also has two wolves.
Yes.
Greki and Freki. And I believe that it's Ravenous and Greed.
Ooh.
Yes. And then he also has a horse named Sleipnir, who is an 8-legged horse that is Loki's child, that Loki birthed.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yes.
8-legged? And okay, with the tree, so the tree obviously is sacred, right? Within the Norse community. And if you had the tree, is there like one main concept that it would represent if you had, that image as a reminder for something?
I like to think of like the classic witchcraft term, as above, so below. You have Midgard in the middle and Asgard at the top of the tree, which would be like heaven. That's where you hear all the Viking bros go, oh, well, when I die, I'm going to Valhalla.
Right.
And then hell would be where the normal people went.
Okay.
Yes. But what most people don't realize is that Freya gets first pick of all the fallen soldiers to go. I
actually did read that. That sounded very, very cool to her. And her court is it's not Valhalla. What is her court?
I believe it's Vanaheim.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but I thought it was pretty cool that she actually got first pick.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm like, yeah, cool. So like Valhalla sounds great, but to be picked first means I did something even better than just going to Valhalla.
Right.
Even if I don't go, I know where I go, it's not going to be horrible. I'll just get to keep living life. What hell?
So with the tree, do you think that tree represents the balance of everything? Like in order to have good, you have to have bad, or maybe not in those terms of good and bad, but you have, to the degree you feel one thing. Yeah.
Yes, you have to have order, but it's a two-sided coin, like everything.
Sure.
There's order and there's chaos. So when you look at these deities and you look at Odin, you know, oh yeah, he's the All Father. He is everything that is order. Well, then you have Loki over here that people associate him being evil.
Right.
But it's not, chaos isn't evil, it's a necessity.
Could
Like
not
a
agree
wild,
more. Could not agree more.
like lightning striking in a forest causing a wildfire.
Right.
The chaos is needed.
I love that. That is so true. So that tree really does represent quite a bit, all wrapped into one image.
Oh yes, most definitely. And then you've got the elves that live in, I think it's Niflheim. You've got the Jotuns who live in Jotunheimer, the dwarves who live in Muspelheim. So it's not just these regular people. You have the dwarves, the elves, and everything that we see pop fiction a lot.
Right.
Going back to the order and chaos.
Yeah.
We wouldn't, the gods wouldn't have some of the stuff they have it if it hadn't have been for Loki causing chaos.
Right.
Yeah, Sif wouldn't have her golden hair that's made from the dwarves had he not shaved her head.
Is Ragnarok a good question? I can ask. What do we know about Ragnarok?
So Ragnarok is when Fenrir, who is the child of Loki, he's a giant wolf that is bound and chained, and he is destined to come back and cause Ragnarok, killing all the gods.
That's not one of Odin's wolves, is it?
No, this is one of Loki's children.
Okay, gotcha. I'm with you.
Yes. So how Odin, when he obtained his knowledge from Mimir's well by hanging from the tree, from the Yggdrasil, he gave his eye for the knowledge of the runes, and he was impaled and hung for 9 days and 9 nights to obtain all the knowledge. Well, and that knowledge was of Ragnarok, and that Fenrir was going to undoubtedly kill him and the gods.
Almost like a vision, that he saw. I gotcha. Okay.
Yes. So they had to. They played a game with Fenrir to bind him, and they had to get these golden chains made by dwarves. But the only thing was, Fenrir had grown so big so quickly that he refused to trust the gods. And the only god that he trusted was Tyr, the god of justice.
Okay.
And Fenrir told the gods that I'll let you wrap me in these chains if Tyr puts his hand in if one of the gods puts his hand in my mouth.
Oh.
And Tyr, being the honorable man that he was, said, I'll do it, knowing that he was going to lose his arm.
Oh my gosh.
So when you look up pictures of Tyr, it's always a man with part of his arm missing.
And that's because Fenrir?
Yes, and Fenrir bit it off. Yes.
Well, I've definitely heard, the word Ragnarok, used in, it seems like different settings, but it's nice. I would definitely want to read up more on that one.
Yes. That is also going to be in the Eddas.
Okay. And does the tree have to do with anything with Ragnarok, or is the tree always safe? It's not.
The tree is just always there. It's where the 9 realms live.
I gotcha. Okay.
So
it's not part of the doom, or the thing that the vision that he saw coming wasn't that the tree was going to get hurt, or
no.
Okay, so we did the 9 realms, the gods.
There's a lot. What another piece of information that a lot of people don't know is that the days of the week are named after the gods. Sunday, which would be Sun Day.
Yep.
After the sun god, the sun. Monday is Moon Day.
Yep.
Tuesday is Tyr's Day.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Hold on. Yep, I'm with you. Okay.
Wednesday is Woden's Day. Thursday is Thor's Day.
I know what Friday is.
Friday is Freya's Day.
Yep.
And Saturday is Saturn's Day.
Okay, so of those, I did not know Tuesday or Wednesday. So Wednesday you said was Thor? No, Thursday was Thor's Day.
Yes.
Thursday is Thor's Day. And what was Wednesday?
Odin.
Oh, Wednesday is Odin's Day. And what about Tuesday again?
Tyr.
Interesting. Because that's our battle day. That's when, right? You wear your red,
Yes. It's a very good day to wear red.
Yes. Or something
Which is,
that's going to do.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so do you mind taking a second? Because I'm really big on the days of the week, and I did not know to tie them into the Norse at all.
Yes.
Okay, so Monday Moon Day, what would that be with the Norse again? I know obviously the moon, but
the moon.
Mm-hmm. Is that your emotions day or
that's
no?
what I would say, like, that's your weekly check-in. Like, that's when you should do a check-in. That's when wearing a silver moonstones.
Yep.
Yeah, really just getting in check with your emotions.
I love that too, because I always think Monday really does start our week, not Sunday. Everybody's different on that one, but I love Monday as okay, get myself settled, look at my calendar, I get things organized, I do that self-check. I definitely am. I'm very, very tied to the moon. So Monday Moon Day is a big one for me. Okay, so that's awesome. So Tuesday is Tears Day.
Correct.
All right. And so same with our typical Tuesday stuff. You've got your war, your battles, your high energy day.
Yes.
Is there anything else that he brings in?
Well, like I said, Tyr is the god of justice. So you want to try and be as just as possible,
I like that.
Lots of blue. I would say, if you would want to do like a devotional act for Tyr, is to try and go the whole day with only using one hand.
I love that connection. Love it.
Yeah. I've also got written in my Book of Shadows military service. So for all the military members, Tyr and Odin seem to be the two that reach out the most for them.
That is interesting to take a challenge of using does the story say whether it was his right or left hand?
I don't think so, but I know in most pictures it's normally his right hand, which would be his sword hand, which is, it would be his sword hand. His
dominant, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, this is amazing. Okay, what about Wednesday then with Odin?
I would do black or gray. Lots of mead or tobacco. Red meat days.
Okay. Now I always like to bring things back to kind of work stuff. I know Wednesdays are great communication days.
Yes, poetry is another one of the things that I associate with Odin. With him being the father. I'm sorry, I want to backtrack for Tuesday.
Yeah.
For Tyr, the runes are also heavily associated with the gods.
That's my next big thing to jump into. So
yes,
not to book you early, but maybe I could book you for another one just on runes. That would be amazing.
Of course, yeah. Okay. Tyr's rune is Tiwaz.
Okay.
And that is, so I have it. Yes, it's Tiwaz.
Tiwaz. Okay, got it.
Tiwaz. Yeah, so you could use that. When I see that rune in a reading or anything, like, I associate it with Tyr immediately with justice. I also associate Tyr with the Justice tarot card.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but then we go back to Friday, or to
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Onzus is Odin's rune.
Onzus, and that is ONZ.
ANSUZ. Yes.
Not even close.
Not yet.
Okay, say it one more time. Sorry.
ANSUZ.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So Odin, Wednesday, communication day, poetry, right?
Poetry.
What else would be some main things for Wednesday and Odin?
Acts of service. You could do that. Just giving to someone. Find that homeless person who's always in the same corner. Right. Go give them a meal from a fast food place. Or that's normally like what we'll do. If we see someone when I'm driving around, not at work, we'll stop. Yeah. We'll run in somewhere, grab some tacos, because normally down in Lake Charles, they're always right there by the Taco Bell. So we'll go grab some tacos and run and bring it to them.
I love that. And what about colors for Wednesday? You were saying black?
Gray, cobalt blue, and black.
Mm-hmm. All right, what about Thursday?
That is Thor's day.
I always think of Thor with more battle stuff, but what else is good for? Yeah, well, Thursday is Jupiter, right? And that's the biggest.
Yes.
That's the biggest. So that's the energy, the big energy. So that still would work,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. So when you say big energy, the associations for Thor is thunder, lightning, storms.
Yes.
Lots of heavy, like lots of powerful energy around Thor. You've got Thor's got a couple symbols with him, which would be the Mjolnir. Everyone knows what Mjolnir is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it tattooed on me. I've got one that I wear. Goats.
Oh.
Yes. Their names are Tana Brisiner and Tana Gin Jolster, which is teeth grinder and teeth thin, or thin teeth.
Interesting.
These are goats that Thor can kill and eat their meat from, and they come back the next day.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yes.
How often does that happen?
Every day.
Every day. That's his food.
Yes.
And every day and the next day they come back.
Yes.
Ooh.
So you can offer goat meat to Thor for that, or eat hearty foods. His big thing is that he was the god of the common people.
Oh.
Yeah. Which is why he was one of the more prominent gods.
What would his colors be for Thursday?
Blue and silver.
Blue and silver. So Thursday's a good blue and silver day.
Yeah, so Wednesday's is your cobalt blue, which is that royal blue, and then Thursday I would say would be your dark blues.
Sure.
For that, when when that storm's coming in, the sky gets really dark blue.
I do.
Yes. So dark blue, silver.
And not to put a side note in here, but I'm out in California, and I was driving up to the Sierra Mountains, a couple of years back, and it was such a massive storm. And in the plains area, the valley where you're driving, you can see the mountains in front of you that you're going to be at some point getting to. There was just a massive lightning and thunder show that you're clearly driving right into, right? But to watch it from a little bit of a distance as you approached, it literally looked like Thor and Odin or somebody was just back and forth, throwing lightning at each other, and you could see, even though you couldn't feel the thunder, it's like you could see it. It was amazing. It was just spectacular.
Yeah. So there's stories that say that the lightning and the thunder is Thor fighting the ice giants.
Ooh, okay. So how
Thor fights the reason why we see hear the thunder and see the lightning is because it's Thor fighting the ice giants.
Oh, the ice giants. I got you.
Yes. There's a funny meme that says Jesus said he'll get rid of all evil and wickedness, and Thor says, "I'll protect you from the ice giants." Well, I have yet to see any ice giants.
Just saying.
Yes, not saying there's a coincidence here, but I don't see any ice giants.
Yeah, you know what? So far, I gotta say, I haven't either. So
yeah,
point for Thor. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. Okay, Friday, Freya's day.
Yes, yeah. So Freya would be so Freya is also a love goddess, but on the same coin, she's also a war goddess.
Yes.
Yes. And she's also the one who taught Odin Satyr, which is the Norse version of magic. It's their folk magic.
I read a little bit about that. That sounds amazing.
Yes. So Friday would be a great day to, invoke Freya in for your spell work.
And what about colors for Friday?
Yellow, white, green, red.
Maybe pink even for love, yes, or red. Yes. Yeah, you said red. Yeah.
Daisies is another big association with her.
Yeah.
Which is where I got the yellow and the white from.
For sure.
Yes. Beauty, self-care, love magic.
Big on self-care. That's a big day for self-care. Yeah.
Yes, it is. We've already brought up her cats. And she also has a boar.
Oh gosh, what's his name? Starts with an H.
Hildisfin.
Okay. Hildisvin. Okay. And he protects her, doesn't he? He fights for her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I associate a lot, for those who do like the Greek mythology, Freya and Athena being two of the same coin. Especially with the boar and the cats.
Right. And I've seen different cats with hers. I know the kind of like that Russian blue is real popular, but I've also seen images with white cats. Is that true or no? Okay. Yeah.
I just associate cats with her.
Sure.
Like, with me working with her, we would go to Sonic a lot, and that's just what me and my wife did, especially during COVID. And when we would go to Sonic, I would always have her candle burning because I gave her an apple pie candle from Walmart.
Right on.
And when I switched it from from the white candle to that red candle, that candle just danced. Like, she loved it.
Oh my gosh.
So it was really weird because we would be at Sonic and I would get a whiff of that candle, and then I would see. Yes, I would. My wife even called it a couple of times.
That's awesome.
And then we would see the cats come up. A lot of the times when we would notice it, there was always this little orange tabby cat.
Yes. Orange tabbies are a special breed.
They are.
They are. They are. Yeah. Okay, so Saturday is Saturn's Day. And who?
Saturn's Day.
Yeah. And what would you say? That's Hecate's Day, isn't it? Also?
Yes, it's also Hecate's Day. I normally just do my stuff with Hecate on Saturdays, and I don't even focus on the Norse.
Yeah. I mean, she just requires a whole different line of energy, I think, than.
Yes, but if you were to give a Norse deity that day, it would be Nord, god of the sea.
Oh, okay.
Nord is also the father of, I believe it's Freya.
Because Freya and Freyr are twins, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's the dad.
Yes. I had to flip through this big old book.
I know. Okay, so for Saturday, if we did not look at Hecate and we focused on Nord, god of the sea, what type of energy would we be looking at?
You're more calming, like it's Saturday. It's you work all week. That Saturday you don't want to do anything but just sit down and relax.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. So go out to the beach, sit there with your feet in the water, and just enjoy relaxing.
I love that. Now, what about colors for him in Saturday?
White, or like that. What is that color? I know it's a specific color. For like the sand, that orangey color.
Yeah.
Don't work with Nord a lot.
Sure.
So, that's one of those. If you do, let me know.
Right? I know, me too. For sure. Yeah, they have some more tips for us. Okay, what about Sunday then in the sun?
Golds, yellow, high. I would say that's another high energy day. Which is one of those things is why I believe Christianity chose Sunday as a day for their services and worship.
Oh.
Yes.
That's interesting. I can see that. Well, I love that we tied stuff into the days of the week. That is amazing to me.
Yes. And sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I was going to say, so, one of the things that I've just noticed over the years is how everything really does seem to tie back together in some form or fashion, whether it is, the days of the week, and then just like what you're saying right now, for Freya or Odin. What about the elements? Do you find that those tie in heavily with the Norse and paganism, or?
In paganism, most definitely, yes. Yeah. So you're talking about the elements and the days of the week.
Right. I know that there's definitely, different energies, almost like breaking up the year into 4 quarters, you can put the elements with those. And do you find though that there are different areas in Norse paganism that tie, that can fall into one of those 4, earth, air? Fire?
So the Norse religion is very much a nature-based religion. I always get heavy earth element energy from them. Sure. But it goes back to like what I said with Loki. He is one of the gods, not just chaos, but I associate Loki with fire.
Right.
So like, yeah. So yes and no. When I do elemental work, like with me working, it's if I'm having a really hot day, I'll go sit underneath a tree and put my hand on it and be like, Earth, thank you for your oxygen. And tree, whatever your name is, tree, like thank you for your shade because it's hot.
I like that.
And again, with it being hot, I listened to this podcast called Feast of Torches, and the host Azazel did a meditation where you like find out what the earth elemental is to you and like what they look like. And they did one for each of the elements. So when I speak to air, I don't say, "Oh, air, give me a gust of wind." I'm like, "Hey, sylph, give me a breeze because it's hot."
Oh, right.
Yeah, or like the sun that's right over me. I'm like, "All right, Salamance, you got to calm down, buddy. It's too hot."
Thank you, but we're good.
Yeah, thank you, but it's too hot.
And well, even then, like you were saying, Nord, right, the god of the sea, that could be like the water element. So you probably can tie a lot of these back in.
I'm sure you can. I started witchcraft based, and then I moved into the Norse mythology. And it's really funny. My wife and I joke about it a lot because I used to be a Christian. I used to be a Pentecostal youth pastor's assistant.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. So before I was even a Norse pagan, I had Mjolnir tattooed on me.
Oh, okay.
And the Victorseer, which is if you look up like Viking compass, it's what it is.
Right.
But like that's the image you'll get. But it's actually like an Icelandic rune stave.
So you had that before you even started practicing or researching more into Norse paganism?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. And then my wife and I also got our wedding rings tattooed that are bind runes.
Oh.
Yes. So before I was even a Norse pagan, the Norse deity, the Norse magic.
It was calling you.
It was calling me, yes.
Literally calling you.
Yeah. And it was just one of those things. And I never knew it until one day I was up singing in the choir.
Oh my gosh.
And I got hit with a vision
of
a man on a horse with a horde of people running at me. And I got stabbed. And then I fell down the pulpit. And everyone thought I like had a seizure. And then when I turned around and explained all this to people, they were like, I don't know what that means.
Absolutely.
And here I am almost 5 years later. We've been married 5 years since that happened. So 5 years later, here I am now a Norse pagan and a Hecatean priest. Like,
so back to when we were starting at the beginning, talking about how, you'll get signs and nice little gentle nudges and pushes until you're not paying attention. And then you get smacked over the head with it. Like, it's like, right?
That's why I wanted to wait till later on in this episode to bring this up, because that's exactly it. The tattoos were the gentle little like, hey,
yes,
you should do this. Hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do this. Okay, hey, pay attention.
Hey, what are you doing? Oh my gosh. That gives me goosebumps. Like, I love that story.
Yes, like every time I tell it, I get goosebumps.
All right, this is so much fun, and I hate to take a mid-story break, but this is a perfect time to pause so we can wrap it up for this week, and then I'm going to pick right back up just where we left off next week with Justin so we can continue talking about our Norse paganism. I do have a great poem to add for the end of this 2-part series, so I'm going to save that for next week. Till then, I hope you, if you're in the United States, had a great 4th of July. You had a wonderful full moon on Monday, and I will talk with you next week, and we'll pick up right where we left off with Justin. I do have most of the things that Justin was talking about as far as books, podcasts, and references listed in the show notes here. So be sure to link on those, follow along, And of course, I've got his Instagram linked as well. All right, well, have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend. And again, I promise to pick up right where we left off with Justin for next week's part 2 episode of Norse Paganism. Thank you for joining me today at Witchy Work Wishes, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. For more information and additional content, please visit me online at witchyworkwishes.com. If you want to send me a personal note, please email me at info@witchyworkwishes.com. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Witchy Work Wishes.